You might think a painting is like a window. We look through the frame onto a mountain or a Parisian street, and we expect the paint to glimmer and mimic the world outside. But look at this. This is Édouard Vuillard's still life with Candlestick. It doesn't shimmer. It doesn't open onto the world like a breath of fresh air. It's strangely close, because this painting is not a window. In fact, it's a silent insurrection. And if we don't understand what Vuillard is doing here, we miss the exact moment modern art stopped trying to be a window and decided to become a wall. To understand the wall, we have to solve three rather odd mysteries tucked away in this image. First, the support. This painting in the National Galleries of Scotland is painted on millboard, essentially heavy-duty cardboard. So why would a French master snub fine canvas in favour of the 1900s equivalent of a grocery delivery box? Second, the sinking. Look at the paint. It's dead. It has no gloss, no varnish. It looks as though the surface has literally swallowed the light. Why would an artist deliberately kill the glow? And third, the camouflage. Look at the leather bag and the candlestick. They're not standing out. They're retreating. Hang on to those clues: the cheap support, the sinking paint, and the disappearing objects. Because about 2 minutes from now, they're going to change the way you look at modern art. But first, some theory. In 1435, the Renaissance polymath Leon Battista Alberti laid out the mathematical foundations for linear perspective, introducing the window concept, which became the bedrock of Western art. He wrote, "I draw a rectangle, which I regard as an open window through which the subject to be painted is seen." And for over 400 years, artists followed that rule. They tried to make the canvas disappear so you could step through the frame. But Vuillard was part of a group called les Nabis, a name taken from the Hebrew word for prophets. And they were here to prophesy a new modern art. In 1890, when he was just 19 years old, the painter Maurice Denis published his manifesto of neo-traditionalism, resetting the rules that had dominated painting for nearly half a millennium. He wrote, "Remember that a picture, before being a warhorse, a female nude, or some anecdote, is essentially a flat surface covered with colours assembled in a certain order." Now, look back at that cardboard. Vuillard wasn't being cheap, he was being tactical. You see, canvas is normally primed to reject oil, making the paint sit on top and reflect light. But millboard is like a sponge. It leaches the oil out of the paint the moment it touches the surface. And this is the secret of the sinking paint. By using cardboard, Vuillard created a matte, fresco-like finish that absorbs your gaze rather than reflecting it. He's placing a board over Alberti's window. Vuillard isn't trying to trick you into thinking there's a real candlestick in a real room. He's showing you a beautiful decorative arrangement on a hard brown wall. And why the camouflage? Why does everything blend together? Well, Vuillard lived and worked in his mother's corset making workshop. He spent his life surrounded by fabric and overlapping floral patterns. To him, the world wasn't a wide open vista, it was a cocoon. Look at the bottom right. That's raw, unpainted cardboard, what we call the Réserve. He's leaving the millboard exposed to tell you this is an object. Vuillard was not a flaneur wandering the streets like Monet. He's an Intimiste, finding the entire universe, all its secrets, inside the patterns of a single quiet room. So, here is your takeaway for the next time you visit a museum. Ask yourself, am I looking at a window or a wall? Is the painting trying to pull you into a scene with deep perspective and shimmering light? That's the window. Or is it holding you at the surface? Is it matte, compressed, and obsessed with its own materials? That's the wall. Vuillard's wall became the very foundation of modern painting. By rejecting the window, he gave artists permission to stop mimicking the world and start inventing it. When you look at the bold, flat blocks of colour in 20th century abstraction, you're looking at the descendants of a masterpiece on a bit of cardboard. Not bad for a quiet insurrection, is it? This is just one of the wonderful paintings from the National Galleries of Scotland that you can enjoy through View Night. To live with this masterpiece in your own home, check out View Night online. And for more videos like this, hit subscribe.